What's up, everyone? This is Alex from Father's Love, Father's Heal. So I've been gardening now, I don't know, 10 years probably. And every year I learn more and more and make more mistakes, kill plants. My garden's grown to the size where it's not cost efficient to go to the greenhouse and buy plants. I just have too many plants. So last year I started growing from seed and I learned a lot. I started way too early. Some survived, some didn't. A big part of it is using compost for my seed starting mix. You don't want to use all the compost, you just want the fines of the compost, which is the small particles. So you need to use a compost sifter. So I was looking on Amazon and I don't know, they're pretty cheap looking. I have a lot of scrap lumber laying around, so I'm going to use that to make a compost sifter. I already made all the cuts, so I'll just show you how I put it together. This one I'm going to use 1-bys, and I'm going to use a Japanese method that my brother showed me to treat the wood without using pressure treated wood. So let me show you what I got. The layout for this is going to be 2 feet by 15 inches. I burn the wood with a blowtorch. You don't have to do this. I just like to do it because I don't have to use pressure treated lumber. When you burn the wood like this, you will make it last a lot longer. I'll also use a polyurethane, which I'll show you later on in the video. You can just use plain old 2x4s. This is the scrap wood I had, and as you'll see, when you do it like this, it makes it look real. It makes the wood grain pop. This is very cheap pine lumber, and when you add this, it makes it look really good. Here I'm just brushing the soot off of the wood. Usually I would sand it, but I'm not going to because it's just going to be a sifter. These other pieces here, these are 1.5 inches wide. I'll cut 4 of them at 2 feet and 4 of them at 15 inches. Those will hold the 1/4 inch mesh down, and that's the main part of the sifter. Now that all my pieces are done, I start putting it together. Make sure you pre-drill your corners so you don't split the lumber. I use exterior rated screws. All I had was 1 5/8 inches, so that's what I used. If you can get 1 1/4 or 1 inch, that would be better. I put the first piece on that's going to hold the mesh. This is a 2-foot piece by 1.5 inches. I pre-drill the holes on the side and screw it down, and you do that on both sides. I used 4 screws on each side. Then I put my 15-inch piece in on either side. Did the same thing, pre-drilled the holes, screwed it down. This one I used only 3 screws on each side. Now that all my bottom pieces are put together, I used the polyurethane. Everything I read online said that polyurethane won't leach into the soil as long as you let it cure before you put soil on top of it, which I'm going to. It's going to sit for a few months until we get some warm weather. I use satin for this. I don't like semi-gloss or gloss. It just makes it look too plasticky. The satin really makes the wood pop. So once it dries, it's no shine at all, just looks really good. I put one coat down, let it dry, then put a second coat on, and once that's dry, I put down my mesh. This is a 1/4 inch mesh. Make sure when you use this, you use gloves because you will cut yourself. The second 2-foot piece, that's what holds the mesh down. When you screw these pieces down, make sure you have 1.25 inch or shorter screws. The ones I had were just a little bit too long, so when I screwed them down, it popped out the bottom. So I just had to back it out, put it at an angle, and screw it down, and it worked just fine. Then you do the same thing on all 4 pieces, and then the mesh is secure. And that is the sifter. I give it a quick wipe down, then I hit it with a 220 grit sandpaper. Then I measure halfway to put the handles on. These are heavier duty handles, just so they can last longer. You don't even have to use handles if you don't want to. Then I put on one more coat of poly just to make sure all the wood is covered. You want to make sure all the wood is covered so nothing is exposed. That way it can last longer. Once I do all that, I just let it cure for about 15-20 minutes and screw in my handles, and that is pretty much it. You don't have to get as crazy as I do on this sifter. This is just going to be for my seed starting mix. I'm not using this as a huge sifter for my raised beds, just to start my seeds with so I can keep this in my greenhouse. It's nice and small, out the way. That's just the way I wanted to do it. If you just want to use regular 2x4s, you don't have to treat it. You could do this real quick. So I hope this video was helpful. Come check out our free gardening Zoom classes every Monday at 7 p.m. We talk gardening. We talk different methods, different styles. We bounce ideas off of each other. It's free. Check it out at Fathers Love, Fathers Heal. Hope you enjoyed this video.